What if I told you a mother's dream turned a murder mystery into a ghost story, and the killer couldn't escape justice, even from beyond the grave? So today we are diving into the story of the Greenbrier Ghost, a tale of love, betrayal, and justice beyond the grave. Let me take you back to Greenbrier County, West Virginia, in 1897. The hills here are shrouded in mist, a place where tradition runs deep, and the line between the living and the dead feels thin. This story begins with Zona Heaster, a lively, beautiful young woman who dreamed of a life larger than the small Appalachian town she called home. Her laughter could echo through the hills, and her smile was said to light up even the darkest corners of Greenbrier. When Erasmus Ed Shue, a blacksmith, arrived in town, Zona's world changed forever. He was strong, charismatic, and full of tales of adventure, everything Zona thought she wanted. Her mother, Mary Jane Heaster, wasn't so sure. Something about Erasmus felt off. But Zona was in love, and in 1896, she married him despite her mother's unease. Little did anyone know, the shadows of Erasmus's past would soon eclipse Zona's bright future. A sudden death and a suspicious silence. On a cold January morning in 1897, a young boy was sent to the Shue home for an errand. What he found would shake the quiet town to its core. Zona's lifeless body lay at the foot of the stairs. Her arm was awkwardly crossed over her chest, and her head tilted unnaturally to one side. When Erasmus arrived, his behavior was unsettling. He was frantic but oddly controlling, refusing to let anyone touch or examine Zona. Dr. George Camp was called to the scene, but Erasmus hovered over the body, sobbing and wailing, making it impossible for the doctor to conduct a thorough examination. A mother's unshakable doubt. Grief does strange things. It clouds your mind, but for Mary Jane, it sharpened her instincts. She couldn't accept that her healthy, happy daughter had simply dropped dead. There were no signs of illness, no warning. Zona had even seemed happy the last time they spoke. Day after day, Mary Jane prayed for answers. She begged for a sign, for anything that could explain her daughter's sudden death. And then Zona came to her. Over 4 nights, Mary Jane had vivid dreams, or perhaps visions of her daughter. In these dreams, Zona appeared shrouded in sorrow. Her voice trembled as she revealed the horrifying truth. Erasmus had killed her. In a fit of rage, he had strangled her, snapping her neck. To prove it, the ghost twisted her head unnaturally, showing the injury that had ended her life. When Mary Jane woke, the details of these visions were etched in her mind with startling clarity. She was certain that her daughter had spoken to her, and now she had a mission to bring Erasmus to justice. The fight for justice. Mary Jane took her story to prosecutor John Alfred Preston. Imagine trying to convince a man of the law that your daughter's ghost had revealed her murder. It sounds absurd, doesn't it? At first, Preston thought so too. But Mary Jane's conviction, the precision of her details, and her sheer determination were hard to ignore. Reluctantly, Preston agreed to have Zona's body exhumed. When the coroner re-examined her remains, the findings were chilling. Her neck was indeed broken, her windpipe crushed, and bruises shaped like fingerprints were visible on her throat. The official cause of death was now clear: strangulation. Erasmus Shue was arrested and charged with murder. The trial that made history. By the time the trial began in June 1897, the story had spread like wildfire. The courthouse was packed with people eager to see how this strange case would unfold. Mary Jane took the stand and described her ghostly encounters with Zona in vivid detail. The defense, of course, tried to paint her as delusional, mocking her story as nothing more than superstition. But the physical evidence couldn't be ignored. Zona's broken neck, the bruises, everything pointed to Erasmus. And then there was Erasmus's past. The jury learned that 2 of his previous wives had died under suspicious circumstances. He had a history of violence and a temper that few could deny. It didn't take long for the jury to reach a verdict: guilty. Erasmus Shue was sentenced to life in prison, where he died 3 years later. A legacy of mystery and justice. Zona's story didn't end with the trial. It became folklore, passed down through generations as a chilling reminder of how the dead can sometimes speak. Her grave in Soul Chapel Cemetery has become a place of pilgrimage. People leave flowers, whisper prayers, and wonder about the line between life and death. Was it truly Zona's ghost that solved her murder? Or was it a mother's grief sharpening her instincts to uncover the truth? That question lingers, haunting us just as much as the story itself. Why this story still haunts you? Zona's tale resonates because it's more than just a ghost story. It's about love, determination, and the relentless pursuit of justice. It's a reminder that sometimes the truth refuses to stay buried, and that the voice of the silence can still find a way to be heard. So, what do you think? Was it the spirit of Zona Heaster Shue, or was her mother's intuition so sharp it seemed otherworldly? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if this story gave you chills, share it.